Good morning all. How are you?
Morning. Okay, so we can start, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Honorable guest, Mr. Anandraj Govindaraj, lecturer from Sunway University, and my respected colleagues, professors, associate professors, doctors, brothers, and sisters. Good morning and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To get more barakah, let us begin our training today with the recitation of Kitab Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to the training on PowerPoint Advanced Level. I'm Wirawani, the MC for today's session. We are glad today to have Mr. Anand again to share with us the Microsoft PowerPoint Advanced Level. Actually, Mr. Anand planned to have a smaller focus group session for the advanced level. But since just within the first few days of the registration opening, we received more than 200 participants. So we feel a bit uncomfortable to reject our interested staff. For that, we wish to apologize, Mr. Anand.
No problem.
However, since there will be a lot of hands-on activities, we can only allow a limited number of participants in the Zoom platform, while the rest can be viewed from the YouTube. So before we begin, I wish to share a bit about our speaker today. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the topic today, and a little bit of our speaker. Mr. Anandraj Govindaraj obtained his Bachelor of Electronic Engineering honors majoring in telecommunication from Multimedia University. He then pursued to Master of Applied Psychology in coaching with double credential of HELP's academic master degree and the professional coach certification from HELP University. Currently, he is pursuing his PhD in education technology with the proposed title Applying Cognitive Load Theory in Designing Physics Instruction via Mobile Augmented Reality from University Putra, Malaysia. Some of the awards here secured by Mr. Anand were the online certification course as at Puzzle Coach in 2019, certified as the Microsoft Innovative Educator Trainer in 2018, which was awarded after completion of a minimum of 15 hours of online training and with evidence on providing training to at least 100 educators per year on using technology in teaching and learning, and ICF ACTP Certificate Professional Coach in 2016, second level coaching certification out of 3 obtained after the completion of 5 learning modules in 89 hours and at least 70 hours of coaching log demonstration. Wow, such a long. And currently,
the next round I need to make it shorter, Dr. Vira, so that's easier for you to read.
Okay. Currently, Mr. Anand is attached to Sunway University. as the Technology Enhanced Learning Coordinator, where his job includes planning and providing support for academic staff in using technological tools for teaching and learning, including workshops and consultations, exploring and offering technological solutions that help improve teaching and learning experience, especially Online Teaching and Learning Support Academic Enhancement Division EAD at Sunway University initiative in improving the integration of technology into teaching by providing updates on recent developments, advanced and technological expertise to AED and relevant task groups. All right, so now we know a bit. I think more you can ask Mr. Anand himself. So for the training, these are the training objectives. Yeah, at the end of the training, participants should be able to select advanced functionalities in the PowerPoint tools for a better interface that promotes student engagement. And the second is to be able to create PowerPoint slides that can convey information effectively to students. So to make sure that our training is aligned to the 7 mission statement of IIUM, these are the statements, and it seems we are aligned to the 7th statement, which is to develop an environment that instills commitment for lifelong learning and a deep sense of social responsibility among staff and students. Okay. So some important notes here before we start. The training requirement needs you to have intermediate knowledge and functionality of MS PowerPoint, and you should have Microsoft Office to get the license, Microsoft 365 license under IIUM. We should be able to have the latest version of our PowerPoint, yeah. And another point to be remembered is that to get the CTD points and certificate of attendance, please fill in the I-10, which we will share later, and fill in the evaluation form. So that's all from me. Thank you. So I wish to welcome Mr. Anand. The platform is yours, yeah, Mr. Anand, please.
Thank you. Hold on for a while. Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay, good morning, professors, associate professors, and fellow lecturers. Thanks, Dr. Vira, for a very long introduction of myself. But again, as I said, next round we make it more smaller when we have the next trainings and so on. Okay, thanks for being here to spend the next 3 hours on this Microsoft PowerPoint Advanced. Indeed, I'm not so sure, but this is exactly a continuous training of the previous intermediate that we had, I think, in 2 months back, if not mistaken. So even before I go detail to explain what we're going to do on this 3 hours here, let's do a quick icebreaker. Okay, before that, some house rules. Kindly mute your mic when you're not speaking. If there is any Q&A session after every section, usually I'll give you some time to ask questions. Meanwhile, if you have any burning questions, you can always put it in the chat. And I am looking at the chat here. So here and there, I should be able to get back to you on the questions that you ask. And always be active. Again, as what Dr. Vira said, it's supposed to be a focus group. And then we go on a breakout team, doing some activities and so on. But I've modified because after knowing the amount of the number of participants today, I'll get back to you in a while on that. Oops. So let's do a quick activity for the day, just an icebreaker before we start our training for the day. Just go to slido.com. You can even scan the QR code that you guys can see on the screen, or in your phone, go to slido.com and type out how you feel today. Awesome, tired, and so on. Good. Good. Someone say curious, great, excited, roaring. Wow, I like that word there, roaring. Overwhelmed. Hopefully my workshop today wouldn't be very overwhelmed for you. Awesome. Awesome.
Mr. Anand, some answered in the chat.
Good, but excited to learn. Happy. Thanks, Miss Siti, Mr. Shamsul, and Mr. Asim. I totally forgot to look at the chat there. Okay, so great. Thank you so much. So I hope as you guys are overwhelmed, hopefully it's not going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be excited to have the same feeling that you had before the training, and after the training, you're going to feel the same or even way better than you have felt here. At the same time, take note what are the tools I'm using in as I'm progressing. You are looking at a third-party tool exactly in my PowerPoint. I didn't go and open another page. Usually when we have an this kind of activity, right, we're going to minimize, we're going to open another website, and then we're going to ask the students go there. What I'm doing here, I'm conducting my engaging activity with student in the PowerPoint without going out with the PowerPoint. Okay, so take note about all these tools I'm using, which in the end, somewhere after the first 1 hour, we're going to look at all these tools here. Great. And look at that. Something is being highlighted bigger, right? Like great, happy looks like a bigger size, means many people have said that. So more people says about great, and then the great going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And whereas quite a number of you have said good, awesome, excited to learn, and there are a few numbers have gone with a smaller writing font there. Okay. Now, a quick introduction. I'm not going to go very long on this. Basically, I have a 14 years of teaching experience. Started my teaching journey around 2008. Yeah, 2008. Joined Sunway around 2012. So this is going to be my 10th year in Sunway itself. Started as a lecturer. I was a physics lecturer. Before that, I was practicing engineering, then went into as a physics lecturer, where I see the potential of technologies in engaging students in classroom. From the time I joined as a lecturer, I didn't prefer the part that I'm the one going to be the control of the whole class. I always want a facilitation mode where students giving me answers and so on. So I'll try to design my lessons so that it's going to be a two-way rather than just a one-way of me giving the answers. So I felt at that moment, many technology tools that's available is very useful. Using all that experience and so on, I took the role of TEL coordinator, technology enhanced learning coordinator at coordinator as an education technology at Sunway College. Actually, that's 2014 or 15, can't remember now. And that was a journey of 3 or 4 years where basically we made sure each and every lecturer has the same mindset of going into the classroom as a facilitator rather than a teacher which is just giving an information and so on. So we won some award, Best Smart School. There's an effort over 4 years of me coaching each and every lecturer. Is a team kind of work. And 2020, I moved into Sunway University, holding somewhere similar role, making sure lecturers able, okay, if you have this kind of an activity that you're going to do, which tools going to suit. I'm also now recently involved in researching on setting up and hybrid classrooms, recording rooms, and so on. Okay, that's a very short one about me. Now, again, today we are in a training call as a Microsoft PowerPoint Advanced. Before that, may I know how many of you have attended the intermediate training 2 months ago? Just a quick hand raise should help me to gauge that. Ms. Mira, Ms. Najat. Okay, so quite less number. Yeah, okay, that's no problem. Now, initially, my idea was when Dr. Vira said that we're going to go with an advanced training, my idea was it's going to be a continuation of the intermediate. And therefore, some of the feedback that we got was we want a more engaging kind of an workshop and so on. So what I planned was basically a focus group where you bring in your own slides, and then we look onto some pedagogies, and then from the pedagogies we try to improve, and there's going to be a lot of discussion in the team form and so on. So that was the initial plan, without going into much on tools, but more on the pedagogy. But looking at we only have 2 participants, Ms. Mira and Ms. Najat. Perhaps we're going to do some revision of the previous intermediate, but not all the tools. Perhaps I'm going to add 1 or 2 new and another 1 or 2 on the old ones, so that for the ones who have joined, who have either in Zoom or YouTube before this, they are not left over. So we're going to make sure that everyone exactly going to have to bring up something back home after this 3 hours workshop here. Now, very quick one, another poll. What do you think about PowerPoint here? Is it a very engaging presentation tool? That means you can exactly able to engage student. Engage here means it's going to be like 2 ways, or it's going to be just a one-way tool. What do you think? Is it a yes or a no? Or you feel, I'm not so sure. Sometimes it's engaging, sometimes it's not engaging. So do go there and put your I'm just going to give you around 1 or 2 minutes. Exactly here. And the whole PowerPoint, right, using PowerPoint is going to be engaging when the teachers puts a lot of effort. I wouldn't say a lot of effort. Of course, initially there's a lot of effort that we got to put, but once we know how to trick with the PowerPoint, then things might get a bit easier, because you may able to if you've done many different slides, right, you can exactly get back the same template, use it again, change a bit the words, and then so on. So maybe the first year might be difficult, but after that it's all about you making it better and so on. No need, we don't need to scan it every time. So exactly when I'm moving the questions, right, you will see the questions also moving on the same scan. So scan it once, you'll be able to see as I move the questions in your phone is also moving. That's the beauty about this tool here, Slido. Okay, let's stop there. So we have around 65% of say yes, PowerPoint is an engaging presentation tool. I'm a bit surprised. I've conducted the same training, but of course I didn't have the intermediate. I started with this. Quite a number of says PowerPoint is basically a bit boring. They do say there's many different tools that we have. We have Padlet, we have Miro, and PowerPoint is exactly orang kata lapuk dah. Many people is not using this tool called as a PowerPoint now. The new generation, they try not to use, but again, we can create many engaging presentation with your students by using PowerPoint. I totally agree with 60% of you who have said that. Hopefully the one says unsure and no, that was around 40% of us from us that says you're not so sure, or we still feel this PowerPoint is not so engaging. Hopefully after today's workshop, you will have some idea that how engaging a PowerPoint tool can be with a minimal effort indeed, of course. Okay. Now, so how I have designed the workshop today, we're going to look into 2 different parts. The first part, we're going to go into a bit on the pedagogy, which I didn't go into in the previous intermediate session, to look into how exactly we're going to create a PowerPoint slides? What are the important things that we must always keep in mind as we design our PowerPoint slides? Because I have previously, when I was in the previous departments and so on, I usually go into lecturers' classroom to coach them to make sure to ensure the class basically they come up with a lesson plan, and then I go in, I coach them and so on, how to make the class more engaging and so on. What I felt was, of course, many of them were using the PowerPoint at that moment, 2015 and 16, and a lot of clutters in the PowerPoint, I would say. The amount of words is basically some of them are exactly reading back from the slides and so on. So do we need that to have the same amount of information that I'm going to say and what I have in the slide? So how are we going to be able to make the slides looks less information there, but still able to be catchy to students, and not even about catchy, so students able to absorb the information that you are exactly pouring to them. So we're going to see how PowerPoint can be used in that sense. Before we go further, one more poll before we stop with the poll after this. Don't worry, this is the last one. I promise that. Okay, at least for another 20 minutes. Describe the challenges of PowerPoint that you have in less than 3 words. Challenges or problems that you feel, okay, this exactly making my class not so active using PowerPoint in less than 3 words. It can be 1, it can be 2, but maximum of 3 words. Example, right? Maybe you can say complicated. I'm not so sure. There's one. Not well-versed, time consuming, lacking knowledge, needs a lot of effort. I'm seeing the time consuming is something that is coming up bigger now. Okay, heavy. To decide the important words to put in. That's of course, yes, correct. At least we know the idea. We're not going to put everything. We're just going to put the important words. Videos, is it about creating videos? I hope that's what we meant when we say videos, but it's picking up single words here. But in a way, limited graphic, okay, scrollable images, finding the best template. If you ask me, I don't use any templates that you can get free in online, unless if I need some charts and so on. Yes, I go there and grab it somewhere on the free PowerPoint. Other than that, I create my own templates. Okay, great. Space limitation, too many words in slides. Yes, that's one problem that you always see here. What else that I can see? Figuring, using short sentence. Okay, great. So at least from here, right? In a way, we all have the same problems that you can see. This is a majority of number of us are participating here, that exactly saying the similar problem that we might have, especially designing templates, the effort that we got to put, time consuming. I totally agree about time consuming sections of designing with a PowerPoint. But again, I would always say this is a one-time work, wherein as I progress, I'm just going to take these slides and use it back again on the coming years. Of course, if you're teaching the same subjects, if the subjects are changing, then of course you need to put the effort again and again. Or perhaps all of us already have the slides. Now it's about improvisation of what we have. Don't worry about templates, the colorful, the things and so on. We are looking at the contents, how we can make sure the contents can be easily absorbed by students. Now, putting that aside, we're going to move into our first activity. This is going to be, again, individual activity. I'll be passing you, before I even go into the video here, what is this is all about? We want to go and understand this concept of cognitive load theory. Basically, how does exactly our brain works when processing any information? So to understand this complex theory, before we relate back to the PowerPoint slides, let's explore about this CLT concept, cognitive load theories. And as you are watching the video, before that, how many of you are familiar with this term cognitive load theory? working memory, extraneous load, intraneous load, and so on. Just a quick hand raise will give me some idea. Perhaps then we can have more sharing on that also. Not familiar? Okay. Okay, I think Miss Mira, she has quite number of, okay, so we can also, I can include her in my conversation later. Okay, great. Now, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to pass you two videos in the chat now. As you are watching the video, jot down the important information that you think you can apply when you designing your PowerPoint slides. Okay, based on that, let me quickly pass you the two videos in the chat. Okay, and let me start some timer on that. Just give me a minute. I don't know why, but my PC is lagging. I've never had this problem before. That's why I'm a bit okay. Never mind, it works then. Now, so I'm going to give you around 10 minutes for us to work on this. There's going to be a timer running here. Look at that timer is being embedded into the PowerPoint set. I'm going to start, and then there you go. It's all yours for the next 10 minutes, and we'll get it back after 10 minutes. See you guys. I already start seeing some of the feedbacks coming in the chat. I will also launch another app for us to key in all the good practices that we can take note in a while. Okay, welcome back. So how was the two videos that have been passed to you here? Was it an eye-opener? Did you all have got some new ideas or new information that you have not heard before? Or usually we have heard, but we don't know what kind of pedagogy was it related, right? So these are the things we might come across. What we're going to do next year is, this one, no choice. I have to go out from the PowerPoint, but we're going to use Jamboard here to do the next activity. I'm going to also pass you the link to the Jamboard. The QR code you can see there, but let me tell you what we're going to do here. So if you click on the link that I've given you, it's going to go into the Jamboard here. And what I want to do here, wow, I can see some people start drawing and so on, excited. Okay, fine, no problem, carry on. But what we're going to do here, we're going to drag a sticky note. There's a sticky note here. If you see, that's exactly 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth tool here, sticky note. Click on it, and then you can also choose different colors here, okay? And then write down 1 or 2 useful information, perhaps each sticky note just one information that you have learned from the video. 1 or 2 information, but each sticky note with one. Example here, I'm going to put graphic plus narration is better than graphic plus graphic plus narration plus text on screen. Okay, that's a short form there, and I'm going to save it, and there you go, it goes there. So I'm going to cancel it, and then I'm just going to drag this. I will rearrange for you, no worries on that. Okay, I'm just going to put everything here. Okay, limit words, minimize external load. Let me delete this circle here if you guys don't mind. Less is more. Simple font. Keep coming. Let's spend another 5 minutes on this. On what are the 2 information that you have learned from the video. Combination of graphics, precise words, and narrations make the PowerPoint interesting. Words to the next picture. Okay, this is something very important. Words and graphics at the same place. I think it means the same thing here. Okay, these 2 are the same. They learn when it's novel. Yeah, I totally agree on that. Use clear language when you're explaining. Match picture colors with description. Wonderful. Avoid overloading the visual elements with too much information. It will become extraneous to the audience. Do not use unnecessary graphics, even though you thought it was cute. Oh, this is what I really want to talk about. Using that graphics part there. Be creative, avoid templates, background music. So do we want background or we don't want background? That's something important there. Don't describe graphics in a long sentence. Very good. Okay, I can't see the part at the bottom here. Let me bring it up. Okay, I think there we go. We have a few information or still coming in. I'm going to still give a few more, 1 or 2 more minutes on this. One or two more. Okay, now. Okay, shall we stop with this here? Sebab board pun dah penuh dah. Tapi actually boleh lagi. You just have to make it smaller and then simplify lah. But okay, anyway, let's look on the information that you have shared so that we can go together. Simple language. I think this is very important, especially if you have a long, lengthy words in your PowerPoint, and then you read back the same information, the lengthy word in the PowerPoint, then what is the whole purpose of the PowerPoint slides? Student can even read by themselves. Okay, so I think that's one thing that I see here. Limit the words. Use a simple fonts. Don't use some stylish color. The font itself dia macam bengkok-bengkok lah. There's something like very like a guitar shaped font and so on. Use a simple fonts that can be delivered. Usually, one more thing, yeah, when you're building a PowerPoint slide, we don't go more than 3 fonts in the whole design. Do not go more than 3 fonts. That even can increase the external load. Besides using a simple fonts, and then what happens here, the type of fonts, usually I stick to 2. Title usually satu size, satu type, and then the information one type. But of course, we can always change the size of the font. If you want something to stand out, change the size. That's more better here. Okay, use clear language. You guys hopefully also going through whatever you see here. Match picture colors with description. This is something that very useful. Let's say we have some figure, okay, or maybe a flow chart. So dalam flow chart tu, let's say we use a green color, and the description kita nak label. When you label, that also use the same green color. So totally a mind of a student able to read. Okay, this one goes here. The information is there. I've also seen some diagrams where diagrams satu side, labeling dekat satu side. It's exactly a 2 different. Then the students going to have more load of experience because they got to look here. Oh, okay, this information number 1. They got to go back to another one. So these are things that we want to look at. Attractive colors, in a way, it's important. Rather than attractive colors, I would say the matching colors. How do you put the color at the back and your font? Imagine the font is also striking, the background color is also striking. Susah too for the students to exactly to look at it. So usually what happens here, we want the background either to be a bit dark, so the fonts will be more like a white color and so on, more like a bright, more like a shallow color, I would say, or the other way around, vice versa. How are you going to look at it? Don't describe graphics in long sentence. The explanation goes in a form of audio that you're going to give to students, whereas the description in the PowerPoint must be a short and a sweet. Okay. Be creative, award templates. Of course, I don't use much templates here. Simple, attractive, utilize arrows, circles, exactly. Use animation. This is what we're going to look into today. Animation. How are we going to use an animation to exactly to look at the signaling processing? If you remember the second video, right, I've gone through 5 principles of the 12 multimedia principles. I think it has gone through coherence, signaling, redundancy, and then spatial and temporal contiguity. So we're going to look on tools that are able to overcome these issues here. Something that I want to really go through that, but I can't find it now. It's about the graphics that use. Like I would see, right, sometimes we have design a slides. The slide is nice, but suddenly ada cartoon dekat situ, GIF image, cartoon dancing lah, lepas tu got love shape, okay, and so on. Do we really need this kind of animation? Always relate back. Does this animation is very much related or going to give a student some information? If it's not, try to avoid, because that even can add on to the external load here. Of course, it looks cute. I did see that, but I cannot find now. It was something about cute. Yes, exactly, Ms. Mahani. So try to avoid that kind of things there in your slides. Anyone want to add on any comments based on what we have here? You may just unmute yourself and put on some information, or you may want to type out some extra informations. Okay, so my participants, they are very hands-on. They want to participate just on visually, but not audio or verbally. Fine. Okay, we're going to have this kind of students. Okay, of course, we're going to have this kind of students. If we have 30 students in a class, we're going to have 5 or 6 are very audio person. They want to unmute themselves. They want to give their ideas, but there will be some of them that huge percentage which is very quiet. But the moment you give them this kind of activities, right, where they're going to type and so on, without we knowing who are they, at the moment we know who's typing that, then they might be shy here. Then this kind of tools will be useful. Okay, we ourselves can take an example, right? So we're going to have these 2 types of students. One is audible, very audio, and one is very much on this kind of an activity here. So we somehow want to be inclusive, catering 2 different types of students here. Okay, now let's go back to our slides here. I hope this would have given us some idea about how we can exactly design a slide. Before I wrap up and then we go to our first activity for the day. Hold on. Okay, now, so let's do a conclusion. So we have looked into these 3 load here: intrinsic, extraneous, and German. So if you guys have exactly gone through the video, what is exactly intrinsic? Intrinsic load is basically the difficulties of that topic or the content of the information that you're going to pass into students. And this intrinsic load, right, is going to be different for every student. Example, yeah? If we take a standard 5 maths, we're going to give a standard 4 student, and then we're going to give a standard 1 student, and we're going to give a 4-year-old kid. 4 years, standard 1, standard 4, handling a standard 5 maths. Of course, their intrinsic load will be different, even though you're teaching them how to do step by step. The intrinsic load for the standard 1 and for the 4 years or 5 years old kid is going to be totally different. It's going to be very high, right? It's going to be very high. Whereas for the standard 4, the moment you teach, they may able to relate. Why? They have some prior knowledge stored in their memory itself, on their long-term memory. So did that. So this intrinsic is something is not in our control much. But again, how we can overcome this example, we can just say, hey, previously we have learned the basics of this chapter, perhaps in previously in this level. You may want to go through the notes before coming for the class. These are the things we can tell them, right? So that at least they have an idea, okay, before coming to class, I need to know these basic things here. So the moment I'm in the class, I'm able to follow my lecturer for that particular chapter. So basically, to make sure the intrinsic load are lesser, we can do that. But other than that, we don't have much control. Now, what we worried about, working memory itu besar tu je. Kita nak muat intrinsic dengan external load inside the working memory and still have some space. So let's say your external load is so high when students are processing the information. Why? You have some music playing in the background, you have so much of words there in the background, and you are also reading from the slides, and the flow diagram used is so complex, is everywhere, going everywhere. Student cannot concentrate. What's going to happen at one point? Slowly, the student will start thinking about what's happening at home today, what I'm going to eat today, what my girlfriend is doing. Melayang fikiran diorang, right? So that's the problem. Indeed, they don't have enough space for German load here. What is exactly a German load? It's basically for them to process the information that you have just given, to relate back to the prior knowledge, and then bring that information to the into their long-term memory, right? So these are the things. This is exactly, is it a good example? If you ask me, no, it is not a good example. Okay, why it's not a good example? Sebab externals ni dah ambil besar tempat dia, the whole of the working memory. What we want here is intrinsic. We can't have much control. If a student A, the intrinsic from student A is going to be same. Of course, student A and B will be different because they might have a prior knowledge of different way here. But what we are in control here, we want to reduce the external load. There's no such thing of we can make the external load to 0, but we'll want to try to reduce the external load as much as possible so that we still have, the students still have enough ample space in their working memory to relate that into their long-term memory information and able to grab the knowledge that you're teaching. This is what we want. We want to reduce the externals and then increase the German cognitive load. This is a very much a good way of giving the information. Now, as you guys are observing me going through the slides, I did a lot of explanation, right? Correct or not? I did so much of explanation, but was all the words there? Class, guys, teachers, dah terlalu used to class, so it's coming up again. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, no, right? I didn't use much word. Did you see I use a lot of animations? Instructive is moving up. I'm easily using the spatial contiguity and temporal contiguity. Yeah? I'm placing the on-screen text closer to the graphics, if you see. Okay, closer to the graphic. And I'm presenting the corresponding words and pictures at the same time. I'm using temporal and spatial contiguity together to explain my information. Wasn't this will be more clearer rather than I'm putting the whole information in the form of text and asking students to digest or for me to read through? So this is what we're going to do today here. We're going to learn about animations. So let me go what we're going to do today. I'm done on the first part here. On going through on the pedagogy part for us to have some ideas here. Things that we have looked into the video was signaling. Signaling is basically principle is basically sometimes what happens here, kan? We want to highlight, we want to zoom in something, okay, or we want to highlight as we are explaining. Sometimes we can even use our highlight to highlight certain information in the PowerPoint. That's also signaling. We also have learned about redundancy. Which the theory says graphic and narration is better than having graphic, narration, and text. Okay, and then why is it so here? We always want one visual and one audio. We want one visual and one audio. But when you have a two visual and one audio, two visual is already external already. They are processing the same information in two ways. Okay, then we have also looked into spatial, as I said, placing how the text and the graphic, they are close together. They're not far apart. And temporal contiguity, where we are presenting the words and the pictures at the same time. Okay, now let's move here. So in our second part, we're going to move into the tools. Of course, if you guys have attended my intermediate session, right? There's many tools we have gone into. Example, bringing the we add few shapes, how to bring some shapes in front, some shapes at the back. Okay, and then we also have learned about zooming in certain sections, and we also have learned about adding videos, how do you transfer from one screen to another screen, the animations and so on. Okay, today we're going to look on the animation tools, so you'll be able to do this kind of animation that we saw just now, moving up and so on. We want to do that. We want to look in some fun with shapes, zooming in certain sections, or not zooming in, highlighting certain sections. And then we're going to look into some engaging live activities, which you would have observed while you are going through for the first 1 hour of my session, where we look into a timer, where there's a timer embedded into a PowerPoint. We also had these interactive tools being embedded into the PowerPoint. So these are the 4 things that we're going to go through today for the next remaining 2 hours. Now, before we proceed, shall we go for a 10 minutes break, Dr. Vira?
Sure.
Okay, so it's 10:25 now. Let's meet back at 10:35, and we're going to look onto these 4 different tools related back to the pedagogy that we have learned here. Okay. See you guys in 10 minutes. Meanwhile, if you have any comments, do drop in the chat. We can discuss about that further. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Before we proceed to the to learning about tools that related to the pedagogies that we have learned previously, any questions? Anyone has any questions before we can proceed? Or anyone has any comments to be added on? Okay. So, my participants today are very much more actively engaged in the chat. So, yes.
Just a simple question.
Sure.
Let's say for us to reduce the load in one particular slide, is it necessary to add more slides and less information in particular slides?
Can, but again, when you add more slides, make sure the information, there is a story behind it. The story can be added by animation, or another way, you can still put all the information in one slide, but then don't show everything. Show part by part of that information. Got me what I'm saying here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Example, yeah. Example. Let's move to animation tool that might give you some idea here. I have a few samples that I want to look into, but let's look on this case. Let's say I have a process diagram. Okay, perhaps can be more complicated. Like from this, I've just designed a very simple one. Here I have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flows. But let's say you have some sort of process diagram which have 20 to 30 flows. It's going everywhere. Now, if let's say this is still simple, our mind can process, but imagine we have many flows there and then we're going to put everything at the same time. Would the students able to grasp that information? These are students who never had a prior knowledge about that. So what is the best way we can make this slide better? I still want all this information in the same slide, even if it's a 20 flow here, 20 different flows happening here, or 30, but I still want the process of the diagram will be in one page. Because process diagram, we can't break them into a few pages, right? Then it doesn't make sense. It's going to be more difficult for them if you're going to like make this one side and then you go to the next slide. It's going to not able to give them the whole picture of it. Now, how we can make these slides more better? Anyone? Some ideas here? Merge and remove redundancy. But let's say in our case here, all these are the best information. I can't merge anything anymore already. These are the information. Zoom in can, but again, zoom in a bit confusing. How many of you use this tool? Okay, sometimes zooming in and out can, okay, I would be okay, but some students, this is my personal idea, they feel very pening. They feel very clumsy because going in, coming out, and so on. But yes, can be used. You got to try with the students and get their feedback and see what they say about it. But I think Miss Mira have added there here. Animate each and every different tool here. Rather than putting everything at one shot, what we do here, we only show the step one. We're only going to show the step 1 only. The rest is all empty slide. Then as I done explaining, then I want to show you the step 2. Then I want to show you the step 3, step 4, one by one popping up, one by one popping up. Something similar as what we did previously in this slide here. Let me go back. One slide up. Oops. Hold on. Yeah. This is the thing about zooming layer. When you want to go back to the one not included, I will somehow go through the zooming part, but hold on. Okay. I'm not able to open the slides. Okay, something similar like this. I can choose to put everything in one round, like to show this whole thing at the same time, rather than having any animation, or I can choose one by one. So basically what we're going to learn here, how we can animate to show each and every section separately. So for that, what we're going to do today here is, I've already passed you guys slides, which have all the activities that we're going to do today. It's in the chat if you're able to download. Okay, hyperlink, Miss Putri, yes, hyperlink to other slides is also good, okay, for other details. But make sure when you hyperlink, again, from a student point of view, it may cause some extraness because they're going to go there, look at the information, they come back here. Unless there's one big image of a flowchart, you already break to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Then stage 1 in one slide, stage 2 in another slide, stage 3 another slide, and then okay, correct, you can do that. Okay, I tried it in most of my classes. The slide looks nice and interesting, but it required me a lot of time. Yes, exactly. So we learn that design slides, this PowerPoint here, it takes number of the time that we're going to spend. It takes some time here. Let's see if we able to make it more easier today. Okay, so the first animation tool that we're going to learn here is today, we don't want the whole process diagram to be there. We want each and every step to appear one by one. I hope you guys can download the PowerPoint slides that I've passed in the chat. That's going to be the handout that we're using for today. Let me also open the same tool here. Okay, this is what I have. Okay, this is what you have here. But again, as of now, what happens? I'm having everything appearing at the same time. I want to appear one by one. So to do that, what you do, make sure you go to the slide number 4 based on the slides that's given to you. And then select on, go into the animation tab at the top here. There is an animation tab. Click on the animation tab and then open the animation pane here. Let me show you again. Once you have opened the slide, go to slide number 4. Once you're on slide number 4, select animations, and then select animation pane. So you will have an additional tab appearing, additional column appearing on the right hand side of your PowerPoint now. Now, from here, I want to only ensure step 1 appears first. So what I do here, I click on step 1, select the step 1, and then you have a quite number of animations that you have for the entrance. It can be just appearing, can be just fading in, flying, floating, split, white, random bars, grow and then it turns. It can be something like zooming up. It can be swivel, but many things. But keep it simple. Yeah? We want to keep our slides simple. Tak payah ada animations yang too extra, like bouncing, zoom, zoom, zooms, bouncing, and so on. Make it simple. Remember the concept here, we want to reduce the external look. Okay, so usually what I go with is fading. Fading looks nice, it just appear like that slowly. Of course, if you want to try out the rest, okay. So I select fade, Let me tell you again what I've done. Let me remove this first. Remove. What I did, I click on the first box or shape that I've created. Okay. And then I select fade. The moment I select fade, what could happen? Now I already have the first step appearing here. Okay. Now I'm gonna, it might be fast if you look here. If I'm gonna play this, don't worry about that. Now the step one is not there. So when I play, it's going to appear there. The speed is okay. I feel everything is okay. So we are done with the first one. Next, I want the arrow to be appearing there. Oops, this arrow, I'm going to make it a bit bold. Cannot. Okay, never mind. So I'm going to go back to the second arrow here, the first arrow here. And then again, I'm going to click on appear. Okay. Then you're going to have the straight arrow added. Then go on, keep doing this. Step 2, make it appear or fade. And then the arrow, fade. Step 3, fade. Then the arrow, fade. Step 4, fade. Keep doing this. And then comes to here. We want this, sometimes we want 2 objects appear at the same time. I want the arrow and the true here to appear at the same time. Again, fade. And now, perhaps I want to go, what happens if this is false? So I'm going to go with a no, fade. And then to show them, you got to go through back the process again, fading. And the last one, I'm going to have execute plan here. Now, so let's play this and see how does it looks like. Oh, I forgot to put in the yes and no. I got to do that again. But anyway, let me show you. So we have step 1, and I'm going to explain about step 1, what is happening. And then I'm going to go into the step 2. Then I explain about step 2. Then I go into step 3, explain about step 3, blah, 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 and so on. Then the next step. Then I have an option of true or here. I didn't include the yes and no. Suppose I've done that. So I'm going to show about the no first. It's going to revise and then showing them which process I need to repeat back again. And this is success. What's going to happen next? Okay. Now, let me go through everything again. Let me erase everything one more round. Remove everything. Okay. Perhaps you guys can try out yourself. Step 1, select the step 1. First of all, yeah, go to the animation pane. So go to the animation tab, select animation pane. So that you're going to have a column appearing on the right hand side. It's going to be an empty column there. Then click on step 1. Click on step 1, select fade. Okay. Then go to step 2. Perhaps this time, if you want to include 2 objects, senang saja. It's quite easy. Example, I want the arrow and step 2 to appear at the same time. Select the arrow, press your shift key in your keyboard and select the next object. Look at that. Now I've selected 2 objects. While pressing shift in your keyboard, select the objects that you want to include together and then make them to fade. Okay. And then we have 2 more objects, fade, 2 more objects, the arrow and the diagram, fade, and then I want to include this one and this one together, fade, and now it's about no. What happens when it's no? So don't forget, just now I forgot the no word here, so I'm going to include 3 objects here. Look at that, 3 objects, select fade, and then I'm going to include the process again, fade. This time, what happens if it's yes? We're going to execute. Fade. Smart object, the animation does not really go the way we want it. Ms. Sabrina, can you explain a bit more on what you mean by smart object here? Just so that I might see how to help you on this.
In the PowerPoint, you can use the insert smart object, right? Where you can have like flowcharts, or it's similar like this, but it's a template. But when you want it to animate it, sometimes step 1, 2, 3, 4, the top part comes out first, and then only the insert description, insert description, insert description. You get what I mean?
Oh, you have to do one by one, is it?
Yeah, I have to actually ungroup everything and
Yes, then group it back again.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to, because they have grouped it in a form of a certain template. So you got to, the moment you bring the whole flowchart, you have to ungroup and group accordingly. Like in this case, right, I have already grouped the insert description, step one, all this as one group. So it's easier for me to select just this one here. So this is what you can do also, but you have to group it first. Okay, perhaps I can give you like a few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes to try out. This is my final output on this. Yeah. So I have step 1, then I go to step 2, then I go to step 3, step 4. If you feel it's appearing faster, we can exactly change the speed. Then we have which is the next flow. If it's false, then I'm going to go to step 5B, and then I'm going to show you which step you got to repeat back again. And if it's everything okay, then we're going to execute. So this way, as you explain, it's going to be good. Yes, for smart object, ungroup and regroup back as how we want it to be. Okay, any problem on this? Perhaps I can give you 2 or 3 minutes. Mostly lecturers knows about this step, right? I think we have used this step before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just a stupid question here. As a professional PPT user, you prefer doing your diagrams and charts from scratch or using the smart chart?
Usually I use smart chart, or what I do, right? You can exactly have a lot of templates in online. So I usually will copy the templates from there, bring it over here, then you can exactly edit accordingly. Previously I have bought, I can't find that. If I can find, I can pass it to you guys also. Basically they have a lot of this kind of flow charts there already in this PowerPoint thing. So you just have to go and pick and then bring it over here. I don't encourage to build it from the scratch because the amount of time that we need to spend on building it.
Yeah, it's correct.
It's not easy. It looks
Yes.
easy. This is where I said, I think quite a number of us even have bring it in the first part itself, how much of time consuming it can be, especially when you're creating this kind of process diagram. So one way, try to hunt for some online templates that already have the flow chart, bring it over here, and then it's going to be easy. We can just add on some extra boxes and so on. Or you can also use the smart object that we have here. I'm not creating from the scratch, especially when you have a flow diagram, which is very complicated.
Yes, I saw a friend of mine who actually created a whole slide. It looks like a smooth video, but actually it's everything is done one by one. But dia punya flow dia macam video, like, you know, so impressive. But the amount of time.
If we have the time, but again,
Very advanced.
I totally understand from a lecturer point of view, the amount of number of hours we have to teach. You guys has the research to do, and then marking, and it's not possible now with the online teaching, hybrid mode and so on. So if we have the time, yes, we can do that. Of course, as you are sharing, it's going to look very nice flow when you create from scratch, because it's all your own idea when you create it. But again, I used to do that initially. I even create, let me, if I can find some animation while you guys are working on this, then I can show you. But again, I wouldn't recommend to go from the scratch itself. Okay, don't have it here. Okay, perhaps 1 or 2 more minutes here. Let me see if this is working. This is the animation that I've created myself, showing how does hydraulic jet works. So it's quite a number of works like here. Yeah?
When the lever arm is pressed downwards,
but I have my voice also
valve
because
A
I did a
close,
recording here. Let
whereas
me reduce
valve
the.
B will be open. Pressure now.
So you can see the valve is opening and this valve is moving down. So all these are done with the animation using PowerPoint. At the same time, the car is moving up and I'm using my voice to explain the whole concept. And you can see how does as the valve A is opening, the lever arm is moving downwards, and what is reservoir tank is moving up. So usually what happens here, I will explain this with my own voice as the animation is going on. So in this case, I already have some voice over and I've changed it to a form of video. So now the release valve is moving in. So as you open it, you can see the water is moving out and this one is coming down. And if you see here, oops, I've moved faster. I've wrongly clicked this. Hold on, yeah, let me go back the slide. So this is another animation. Once the car moves up, how does the car comes down back again? The release valve is being opened, kind of you are opening it. Okay, the water is moving out, also the liquid is moving out, not the water. You can see the tank, the oil tank on the left hand side is being filled up and the car is moving down. So again, that exactly explained to them what is the purpose of A, B, release valve and so on. And all this animation is done using the PowerPoint itself. So it's doable, but of course you spend hours to design the whole thing. Okay. Just to give you an idea on what we can do actually with the PowerPoint. This takes me around 2 to 3 hours because I already have a plan. Okay, 2 hours, 2 hours. So again, playing around and getting things done and so on. So the whole thing takes around 2 hours. But again, I wanted to prepare a video. This includes me having a voice narration behind there and recording it and publishing it as a video. So this is for online classes. That means it's not as face-to-face, it's online, but it's in the form of a synchronous video given to them to explain the concept. So this, we can do wonders, but as I said, the amount of time that we're going to spend, of course, is going to be a bit tedious there. Let me go back to our slides. So any problem on this activity that we had here? This is quite easy, right? Perfect. I think this is no problem at all. Let's move to a bit more detailed one. Okay. Okay, now, so we're done with this. The next thing that we're going to look into here is fun with shapes. That means we're going to look into a few different shapes and how we can use that as an animation form also. So I have two samples here. The first one is something that I have gone through during the intermediate session, but I'm going to show you guys again. So again, the first one here, look at the diagram here, what's going to happen. Let's say you have a diagram, maybe a map, where you're just going to zoom in a certain part of the map itself. Okay, in this case, I've taken an image with this guy here, where when I click on my mouse, what's going to happen here, it's going to highlight a certain sections of the PowerPoint, at the same time blurring out the rest, making it grayish. So this is something that you can do into your slides, which we'll go through in a while. And another sample here I have, this can be used for a flowchart. But if it's very small, right, there's a lot of information there. There's a flowchart with like 20, 30 and so on, then this might not be able to suit. Okay, so for this flowchart, what I'm going to do here, as I'm talking, I just want to highlight a certain part. So what happened when I click? Can you see? Let's say I'm talking about the first part of the flowchart there. So I've highlighted certain parts of this person here, and then the magic happens after that. The difference between the first one and the second one. When I'm talking about next part here, maybe about Jerry, when I click, the whole spot part comes up to the next section. It goes to Jerry. And when I'm going to talk about Edward, when I click, it's going to move to Edward here. So the system shows, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is another way of signaling information here. So these are the two things that we're going to learn now. The first one, which is way easier, is not easy lah. The steps is quite a lot also, but it's going to be two different steps here, because the first one you can't move. The first one here we can't move. The second one you can move. Okay, so the first one is basically, oops, I've opened too much of slides that I get confused now which one is which. Okay, this. Okay, so now let's go back to the first one. Oh, let's see another one there. Let me show you the first one here. What happens? We have an image, and then when I click, you're going to zoom to a certain sections of the PowerPoint slides and blurry the rest, make it grayish. So this is something that we have done intermediate, but I just want to go through again. So let's do the first part here. Yeah, the first thing. So open back the slides that I've passed it to you guys. Okay. The first thing to do that. Okay. The one I've given you doesn't have the steps. So you guys have to follow me step by step from here. Sorry, I think the one I passed it to you guys doesn't have the steps, kind. Okay, now what we're going to do here is perhaps I go very slow since the steps is not included in the PowerPoint slide that I've given you. What we do here, select the image that you have, the image itself, and then press in your keyboard Control-C, Control-V. Basically, I'm going to have a similar image but two images here. Place the copied image on the top of the first image. Just overlap. Make sure really overlap on the top. Okay, once it's overlapped, just leave it. So we have one image, we take another image and put it on the top. That is your first step here. Any problem on that? Let me show you again. Step number one. Step number one, we already have the image here, right? Just select the image that you have. Okay, select the image, Control-C, Control-V. And therefore we have another image on the top. Just bring it exactly on the top of the first image. Place it exactly on the top, overlapping exactly. Once you have overlapped, okay, we are done with step number one. Let me give you like 1 or 2 minutes to, you have the step. Great, great. Control-C plus Control-V overlap. Okay, you guys have the step, then should be good. I thought I'd pass you the one without the steps. Okay, now once you have placed it on the top, the next thing here, remember I want to highlight this guy, this man's face here. So what I do here, I will go to the home. Sorry, I'll go into insert. I'll select insert. Okay, select shapes, and then perhaps I want to use an oval shape here. Okay, and then just go draw a shape exactly on top of his face here. Make it slightly bigger. Okay, done. Just covering his face there. That is the second step here. So two steps already. Yeah? First one, you copy an image, place it on the top. Then take the shape, put it on there. Now, the next thing. Step number 3. Everyone okay up to here? 2 steps is done. Select a shape, insert, shapes, and then oval shape, place it on the top. Color too, don't worry. If it's blue, blue. If it's green, green. For you, whatever color, leave it. No issues now. Now what we do here, we want to select 2 objects here. But when you select the object, right, it's very important. again, how do you select two objects at the same time? Press shift in your keyboard and then select the object. But when you select the object, make sure you select the picture at the back first, the picture, then select the shape. If you do it this way, let's say you have selected the shape and then picture, it's not going to work. Okay, it has to be the picture first, select the picture and then select the shape. Let me show you again. Select the picture, shift tab in your keyboard, select picture, then select the shape here. Then what we do here, on the top you will see two red tab, a new tab being produced here, which is shape format and picture format. Go to the shape format, go to the shape format. Okay, go to the shape format, select merge shapes and then select combine. Select combine. Let me show you back again, yeah, what we do here. So firstly, what we have to select here, select first the picture at the background and then select the shape. Once you select the shape, there's a new tab created called a shape format. Okay, click on the shape format, go to merge shapes, select combine. Now, when you select combine, you're not going to see anything there. Whatever circle that you've included is just missing. If you already here, if everything goes missing, then leave it as it is. You are in the right step now, as of now. Now, next step is we want to make the image to become grayish. Remember just now we have a gray image, right? So now what we do here, we select the image at the background here, just select the image, go to picture format, select color and then make it gray. Okay, we want to make it gray or we choose a different gray, perhaps this gray is better. Okay, then we choose the gray here. This gray doesn't look really gray like yeah? This gray will be better. And the moment I choose that gray, I can see the part of highlighted part, the colored part is still there. You can see it. Okay, there you go. Now, the next step, okay, we want to have some animation. So go to the animation, select fade. Okay, now let's play this and see what happens. This is what the initial image I have. The moment I tap on my mouse, there you go. It's exactly highlighting the guy. But I feel it happens quite fast. So I want to slow down the process of the animation here. So I'm going to go here and make changes to the duration, maybe to 2 seconds. Let's try out again. Now look at how does the timing makes a difference here. Now it looks better, right? It's like slowly one is appearing, one more is becoming grayish. And you have highlighted a certain part of your slide. This will be useful when you have an image. And remember, image you can't animate, right? Let's say you have taken an image from online. We want to exactly, it might be a flow chart maybe, but you just want to highlight a certain part. But this is the image. How we want to put an animation if it's just an image that's already online, right? So what we can do here, we can exactly use this tool to exactly to highlight a certain part of the flowchart itself. Depends what you're going to do here. Is that okay with everyone? Shall I repeat the whole step? Let me go through again one more round and then I'm going to give you a few minutes to try out. So first of all, select the image that you have. Control C, Control V. You have two images. Place it exactly on the top. That's the step number one. Step number two, insert, select shape, select oval, place it on the top of this guy here. Okay. The next step, make sure you select the picture first, then the shape. If I select the other way around, let me show you. If I select the picture and the shape, and if I go back to the shape format, and if I combine, dia tak jadi. This is what happens. It happens the other way around. So we don't want that to happen. So always shift, select picture, select shape. Picture and then shape. Then what you do here, go to shape format, merge shapes, combine. You don't see anything, don't worry. Select back the image, go to picture format, color, make it gray. Once done, go to animations, fading, change the time to 2 seconds. If you want longer, it depends on you. And there you go, voila. When I press the mouse, this is what happens here. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to play around on this before we go to the next tool. And while you have looking at it, if you have any questions, do let me know. This will be useful again when you have an image that you have brought in. You didn't create the whole flowchart and so on. This is an image online, but you want to highlight a certain sections. Or it can be a map, can be a huge image that you want to just zoom in onto certain part, or you want an audience to have an attention to a certain sections of it. There you go. This will be useful. Any questions? Do put it in the chat and then I can help you from there. Okay, great, Ms. Carol. Perhaps another 1 or 2 minutes. If you stuck anywhere, just let me know. I can repeat back the whole thing again to you. Okay, Ms. Siti, which step do you have not able to follow? Circle move kejap lagi. Circle moves in a while. Okay. Circle move is the second one. You're talking about this circle, is it moving, is it? Or you're talking about...
Yeah. Oh, okay. Later. Okay, got it.
Are you talking about the circle was moving here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's another different animation. These are two different animation. The first one, you can't make the circle to move. But the difference here, right? You can make the background to be grayish. This one here, you can move the circle like here. Right? Let me show you back again on... This is raw. I can't show in the raw. So let me move back to the... Here.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Anandraj. I'm a bit
No
slow.
problem. No problem. No problem. I'm getting confused with my slides actually. No issues on that. Okay. So the first one here, if you look, as I'm playing the animations, it's exactly gonna highlight that person, but the background becomes grayish. But the second one here, we can't make the background to become grayish. I've tried, we can't make that way. So what we can do here, because you are moving that block behind them, what we are doing here, we are highlighting certain parts, but the color remains the same, but we are making it like more dark at the back. You are making it more dark at the back, but the color still remains and it's moving. So it's a two different animations here, which I'll show you in a while. This is what we have gone through during intermediate. So I've added on another new one here. 1 more minute before we move to the next one. Okay, I think everyone is fine with this. Let's move to the next one now. So this again will be useful if you don't want to create your flowchart from the scratch, where you're just going to go somewhere in online resources. You have already someone build the whole flowchart. You just not copy, letak balik kat sini. You just want to copy and put it here. And then, of course, then you can't animate. That's the problem, right? So now we have an option of able to animate by using the tool that I'm going to show you here. Okay. Sometimes what we do here, we feel building the whole flowchart from a PowerPoint is going to be difficult. So we might use Visio, Microsoft Visio, to build the flowchart and then change it to image and bring it over here. We can animate using this tool here. Okay. Now, to do that, what we do here now, you got to make this slide here. Okay, that's for Dr. Mira. Okay, we want to make this slide to be small as possible. Can you see at the top bottom right hand side corner here, you can exactly zoom in and zoom out from the whole slide here. Reduce this to up to 30 to 25%. Reduce this up to 30 to 25%. Somewhere 30 is good enough actually. Okay. Reduce it to 30%. Okay. Once you have reduced it to 30%, this is a different step. Excuse me. This is totally different from the first one. We're going to reduce this to 30%, somewhere to 30% here at the bottom right hand side corner. And then what we're going to do here, we're going to insert a shape, select, insert a shape. And this time the shape that we're going to add here is a square, but covering as big as possible. Covering as big as possible. Kecil sikit pun boleh lah, but as long as it's able to cover the whole area. Okay, let me show you again what is step number 1. Then I'm going to give you some time. This is what you might have initially. Okay, you might have something like this initially. So what we do here, reduce the zooming here to up to around 30 to 40. 30 should be good, I guess. It all depends on your 30 could be good around here. Doesn't mean have to be exactly 30, 30, 35 is still okay. And then what we do here, go to the insert shape, select the rectangle here, and then just cover the whole area. Something like this. Now, once we have done that, next step, right click on the shape that you have added. Okay, select format shape. You will have a column appearing on the right hand side. Go to the fill. Okay, now change the color to black, full black. Okay, and change the transparency around 20%. 20 to 25. I'm going to put as a 25 here. Okay, now the next thing, any problem up to here? Two things that we have done. We have make it smaller, we have added on a shape on the top, and we made the shape a 25% transparency. Any problem, let me know so that before we move to the next step. All good. Perhaps I'm going to give you some time here for the one following me to do the same steps there. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's delete this. So we're going to insert a shape here. The shape going to cover as big as possible the whole area. After that, go right click. You wouldn't have this initially. Right click, go to format shape, right click, format shape, change the color to under fill here. Yeah? Under fill here, if you look here, go to the color, change it to black, and change the transparency to around 20%. That's all. It can be 25, depends on you how black you want, how dark you want the background. Okay, now the next step here, okay, it might look a few number of steps, I think 5 or 6 steps, but the moment you have done it 3 or 4 times, it's going to be quite fast for you. The next thing here is we want to add another shape. So again, insert, select another shape. This time I'm going to add another box here, but I want to cover just the first part of which part I want to highlight here. So in this case, I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to put another new shape on the top of the first section that I want to exactly highlight here. So just on Elaine, I'm going to cover Elaine here. Okay, so now I have 2 shapes. One is the background, which is a large background with a black transparency 20%, and then I have another new shape I've added covering the first part that I want to exactly highlight here, which is Elaine information there in this case. So once I've done that too, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select both the object. Okay, this is very important. Yeah, when you're selecting the object, right, select the large shape first, followed by the smaller shape. If it's the other way around, it's not going to work. Okay, shift, select the large, then select the small. Select the large shape, baru select the small shape. Once you have done that, again, select the large, select the small shape, go to shape format, go to merge shapes. Now, this time we're not going to combine them, we're going to exactly subtract them. Okay, so the moment I select subtract, there you go. I have already highlighted this person here now. Any problem up to here? Now I want this with some animations. So what I do for the animations, again, the same thing. Go to animation, fade, and perhaps I want to make it a bit longer. 1.75 is good. Let me play now. What happens now? You're going to have, when I click, everything becomes grayish, and I have highlighted the first section of my column here. Okay. Now it's about moving. We're going to go into the moving in a while. But before that, any questions anyone has here? Ms. Vani, I think the recording is there. Of course, I totally understand. So usually in your case, you just pause, do the step, and then pause, do the step, and so on. I can repeat the animation, no problem. So Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Let me do the whole thing, right? One more round. It's about animation too. I cannot just add just the animation. Oops, I'm going to go back to my slide. Okay, so what I did was I make this smaller, around 30%. I insert a large shape at the back, covering the whole area here. And then what I did, supposedly you have something like this. Right click, format shape, color black, and transparency to 20%. Once you're done, you will have some sort like this, and then zoom in a bit, zoom in a bit, zoom in a bit. Okay. Once you have zoomed in, then what you do here, add another shape, insert another shape. This time just on the top of what you want to highlight. Okay. And then zoom out again. What you do here, select the big shape, then shift, select the small shape, go to shape format, merge shapes. This time we're going to exactly subtract them. And you have this, but this one doesn't have an animation yet. For the animation, very easy. Select animation tab on the top, animation tab on the top, select fade. Okay, and then perhaps you want to change the duration slightly longer, perhaps around 1.5 to 2 seconds there. And now look at that, animation, fade, change the duration. That's all. Animations, fade, change the duration. Similar like the first one, yeah. And there you go. You already have that part being highlighted. Now, we are not done with the moving, so let me show you in a while. So perhaps I want to give 1 or 2 minutes for everyone to come to the same step. Okay, now the next thing here is about moving. That highlighting here is moving from one corner to another corner. This might be a bit tricky. Perhaps you pay some attention and then later you try back again. I will help you on this. But the moment you get it right, it's going to be quite easy. So what we do here, in that case, click on the More tab at the bottom. If you see here, there's a More tab. Again, yeah, under animation still, go to the More tab at the bottom here. Again, at the bottom here, there's a More tab. Select and then select motion path lines. Select motion path lines. So let me select this. Now what happens? There's already some animation happening, but it is moving from here to here. You will see some green and red, and the green and red wouldn't be on the top of the on the highlighted part. Don't worry about that. But what is green? Green is the starting point. We don't want to change on the starting point, but what we want to change here is the ending point, which is the red here. So go to the red arrow here, just drag on it, and can you see it start moving already? This one start moving here, right? Bring it over here, bring it on Jerry. Okay, bring it on the Jerry, and then once it's already on the top of Jerry, just leave it. Okay, now let's see what happened now. Yeah, if you go back to the animation pane, and oops, sorry, I did it wrongly. Control Z. I didn't add actually. Control Z. Okay, now, so what we have to do here is something that I didn't do just now. We must add on first. So in that case, must click on add animation first. My mistake just now. Don't follow the step just now. Select add animation. Select add animation. Then you click on motion path. Okay, my mistake just now. Yeah? I edited whatever remaining one. So again, to move it, go to the add animation tab here, and then select motion path lines. Add animation, motion path lines. Now you will see it's moving down, and they have created a new animation for you, the second animation. You see the green, we don't want to disturb the green, I just want to disturb the red. So what I do, I click on the red here, start moving the red until it's on top of Jerry, some sort like this, on top of Jerry here. So once the moment is on Jerry, I'm going to leave it, and let's see what happens when I play this animation now. Firstly, we have Elaine being highlighted, very slow, and then the moment I click again, there you go, it's going there, but just my PC here is lagging, so supposed to go to Jerry now. So let me replay again. Hopefully this time it works. Okay, appears the first one, the second one here. There you go, it's going to Jerry. It might be more smooth for you, but in my case, I think there's some process going up on behind my PC, so it looks a bit lagging there. So I might want to increase the time here, perhaps the time to, it's very short. Oh, 2 seconds, it's good already. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Any questions on this? Let me do it again. Yeah? Let me remove this. Okay, this is what we had, the first one. Okay, we already add the first animation. Before we move the animation, go to select add animation. Select add animation, go to motion path. The moment motion path is usually going to create a straight line downwards, which we don't want that. So what you do here, click on the red dot here or the red circle here, move it so that it is on Jerry Daniel. Okay, move it until it's on Jerry Daniel. Once it's on Jerry Daniel, then that's all, done. We are done with it. If you go back to the slideshow, we're going to highlight Elaine, and then we're going to move it from Elaine to Jerry. Done. Any problem up to here?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anyone stuck somewhere? Okay. Now we want to move from Jerry to Edward now, the third person. So what we do here, again, we're going to go and add animations. We're going to add another motion part here. This time, the default one, right, will be moving from Elaine because that was the first one you have set. But this time, remember, you already brought from Elaine to Jerry. Now you want to move to Jerry to Edward. So which is your starting point? Jerry is your starting point. Edward is your end point. So go back to the green point here. Green is always your starting. Yeah? We don't want to start at Elaine. we want to start to Jerry. So can you see when I move the green tab is moving from Elaine just now? We move it to Jerry. Once you already put it on Jerry, then what happens here? We take the red one, we want to end up at Edward. So bring it towards Edward now. Done. So let's see what happens to the whole sequence. I already have 3 things here. The first one, I want to highlight Elaine. Elaine is already highlighted. Next, I want to move the spot to Elaine to Jerry. And then from Jerry, I want to move to Edward. So it's going to move to Edward now. Done. So you can keep doing this for the rest of your flowchart. Any questions that anyone has here?
Sorry, Mr. Anand, Soraya
Yes.
here.
Yes, Ms. Ryan.
I'm on the screen now. I noticed that while you are on your presentation mode, you've got icons at the bottom of your screens.
I will go through that in a while when you are going to the interactive tools.
Because
Coming up.
I don't know how you got it, but it'll be nice to know. Thank you.
Yes, I think that's very useful tool, but I will go through with you guys today. That's the next part of the workshop today. Any problem up to here? Any questions? So these are the ways we can exactly to make sure there's going to be more animations in such a way. The animation is not just for the purpose of to animate everywhere and so on. We want to reduce the external slope. Always keep in mind, what are we doing here is to reduce the external slope. External slope can be reduced by using 12 principles. 5 principles we have gone through today. Signaling, and then the most important here is the spatial, temporal contiguity, and so on. So always relate back and see whatever you are doing to the slides. Am I reducing the external slope? That's what I always ask myself when I'm designing any slide. So that's where I see, if you see any of my slides that doesn't have any words, I was teaching physics and I'm still teaching physics in a sense of I'm teaching for, I'm conducting my own classes for A-levels, for SPMs and so on. I have my own company or whatever we call it as my own online tuitions or centers and so on. I will always think about this when I'm designing my slides. It's all about facilitation rather than me giving them all the informations. If there is no, where is the subtract button? Subtract button when you create just now, right? Let me show you. Okay. Subtract button to banyak steps too. Okay, never mind. Let me delete. No issues. So what we do here, right? When you put a shape on the top, let's say you already put a shape on the top, this is a very quick one. And then, of course, I'm going to right click, format shape, make the black. And then I make this transparency to be 20%. And then after that, I'm going to create another insert shape. So you see, we already make so used to this thing, right? You're going to do it very fast. Put it on the top. And now when you select what you do here, we select the shape, the big one, shift the small one, go to shape format on the top. Shape format on the top here. Sometimes it might be at home, so you might not be able to see. So go to shape format, merge shapes, and then subtract. That's all. Okay, can we go for a 5 minutes break? Can be a toilet break or whatever break is for. And then we'll meet back again at 11:40 for the last part of the session. Is that okay with everyone?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, see you guys in 5 minutes, 11:40. Yeah. Okay, welcome back everyone. Let me switch on my camera again. So, quick one, we have already covered on a few animation tools that's available. Perhaps if you can combine this with whatever that we have learned in the intermediate session, right? So then you will get a better idea how we can exactly organize your whole PowerPoint slides and so on. What we're going to do next year is for the next 45 minutes is to look on what we call as how we can include some third-party tools into your PowerPoint to make your lesson more engaging rather than just one way, it's a two ways. Like what I've done in my slides, if you see, I've included a timer, I had some quizzes, I had some word things which are exactly popping up, highlighting what is the key information you have learned and so on. At the same time, coming back to that, you can also see something extra on my slides here. Of course, usual normal slides going to be some sort like this, which has all the functions still, where you can exactly click on this. This is the normal PowerPoint function. You can select the pen, you can exactly go and highlight. Oops. You can exactly highlight and so on. But as again, it's a bit difficult to access. Every time you want to go, you got to go down here, you got to choose the eraser, you got to highlight and so on. But what happens here now, I'm going to introduce another third-party tool here. Let me go back to normal. Oops. Okay. Hold on, I don't know why is it not working. Let me exit and then go back again. Sorry for that. There we go, it's there already. So now we can exactly have our pens here and we can change the pens that we have. So it's easier for you to access while you are teaching. You can just animate and then highlight certain parts of your video, and you can have the pointer here and so on. And also besides that, we also have this whiteboard. So let's say if you want a clear screen and you want that whatever that you're writing on the clear screen to be recorded, you can exactly use this. You can have the template being prepared initially. So in this case, it's a whiteboard, blackboard, rule paper. Let's say I'm using a blackboard, and then I can exactly write on it. Again, I'm writing with a mouse here. So of course, it's going to look a bit clumsy. I didn't connect with my tab. So, oops. So again, what happens, that's one more function we have here. Now, if I can also have a quick poll on feedbacks and so on. Okay. And besides that, have everyone here used Kahoot before?
Yes, yes.
Quite a number of us have used, right? So Kahoot is in a way is very good because you have a leaderboard that's exactly going to show who's moving up as you play a quiz. We can have the same kind of a function here, but of course I don't have any competition data here. We can have the same thing showing after each and every quiz, someone is moving up, someone is moving down, and so on. Now, so these are things that I'm going to go into for now. The next round here is cut first. Okay, so for that, let me go back to here. First of all, even before we go to the interactive tool, right? Let's look on adding a timer. What is the timer here? If you look on one of my slides previously, I add a timer there. And how does the timer will be useful? Example, let's say we want to give them some time to do some discussion, and you want the timer to be running behind that to give them an idea. Oh, you still have 5 minutes for the discussion and so on. So to include a timer, it's going to be quite easy. Open an empty slides. Let me go back to my 100% view here. Okay, close the animation pen and then go to insert, and then go to my add-ins. Just select my add-ins here, insert my add-ins on an empty slide. And what happens here in your case, you will have this to be empty. There's not going to be any add-in here. You will have it empty. If you have never used this function before, it's going to be empty, no issues. Just go to store, and search for break time. They have quite a number of this kind of a timer tool here, but I think this is the best one that I found. You can explore yourself, but when I go to break time, you will have this tool here called as break time, a quick way to tell everyone when you'll be back because it's break time. Of course, the main use is about break time, but we're going to utilize it for a different purpose and so on. We can still find other timers here. Quite a number of timers are here. Again, you're going to explore it to see which one suits you best. There you go. Easy timer is another one that you can use. Show master is okay. Date and time. So go and explore which one suits you. In my case, time up is another one that you can use. Easy timer, yes. But in my case, I'm using what I call as a break time here. Now, of course, the moment you go here, just add it. In my case, I've already added to my system. Continue. There you go. It's already added. The next time when you want to go back to the same add-in tool, you don't need to go and search. When you click my add-in, right, it will be here on the main page you set. In my case, I have 4 different add-ins that I've added on. You go and explore for other add-ins that you have. Some are free, some are paid. Mentimeter didn't really work well, so that's why I didn't use Mentimeter here. Okay, Mentimeter didn't work well. There's going to be some lags and so on, so I don't recommend you using Mentimeter together with PowerPoint. So let me close this. Now what happens here, you can change the background or the time. So they have few fixed one. They have a tea time, they have starting time. So let's say you want to start something, so you can just leave it as starting in how many minutes, and you can't change the words. These are all fixed. Lunchtime, they have lunchtime if you want to give them a lunchtime break. Breakfast bar, blah blah, finishing in how many minutes and so on. In my case, I use a none. Okay, of course, what I do once I'm using a none, I'm going to put my own comment on the top. So what I do here, I'm going to go to the text box and I'm going to add a text box here, activity 1. Highlight, make it bigger, use the right font, use the color and so on, whatever that you want to do here, and change the font type perhaps, or you want to change the color of the font. We put it as a big striking color here. Okay, activity 1 done. Now you can exactly set how long you want it. Maybe you want to make it as 15 minutes, and then you can even set the time. And the moment you go online, this is how your participant will show. As you break them, just go and select start, and the timer will start running as the students are progressing with the activities. So this will be good when you have like a 1 hour or 2 hours lecture session. Here and there you want to have some group activities or some individual exploration they want to do, individual reflection, which they're going to put in some board. The boards that I suggest here, perhaps you guys can explore this thing called as Miro. For me, Miro, I feel Miro tool is very much usable. And now with the education license, right, you can add up to 100 students. You don't even need to add. Perhaps you want to explore this Miro tool. I use it very much in my students engaging activities and so on. Where I can exactly mark students' work, students uploading, students work in team. Many things can be done with Miro. Of course, we're not going to cover that today, but I'm just giving you an idea. So this is the first tool that I want to introduce on adding a timer there. So let me go through back again. How do you add timer? Very easy. Let me remove this, delete. All you have to do here is go to insert, go to my add-in, click on the 3 dot here, you can add, or if you never added before, go to store, search for break time. Once you have searched for break time, and then you include. At the same time, you can also try to look on other tools. Or yeah, another tool that I want to recommend, drawing an diagram, flow diagram. You can also look on this draw.io diagrams. I've seen many people are recommending this to be used with PowerPoint. So perhaps you want to also explore on draw.io diagram. But personally, I'm not using it. So I'm not able to give many comments here, but I have seen quite a number of people saying, of course, not from Malaysia, but when you're looking at any technology tools, many people are recommending this draw.io being embedded into PowerPoint. So in that case, I'm going to go with timer here, which I already have. Add in break time, add, make it a bit small, and there you go, I'm done. Okay. Any questions, any problem up to here? Where, Miss Sabrina? Or the just now one here. I'm going to that now. Let's finish up this. Okay, now. Okay, the next thing I want to explore here is adding some quizzes into here. There's the two tools that I want to suggest to you. Okay, let me go through the two tools here. The first one is ClassPoint. ClassPoint is good. Why is it good? Let me go through about ClassPoint. I'm not going to conduct the whole lesson how to use ClassPoint, but again, ClassPoint is something that I always use, but I'm using the free version. Let me tell you what you get with the free version and what you're going to get with the paid version and so on. Now, remember just now you had something appearing at the bottom and you guys been asking how do I get this? This is exactly an application called as ClassPoint. Okay, ClassPoint able to have all these tools here. Okay, again, something like Kahoot, everything can be, you can have it here. Plus, you also can include some multiple choice. Word cloud is what we did just now, right? Remember, you put in 1 or 2 words, then if more people are saying the same word, it's going to become bigger. Short answers, they have also short answers. They have some empty slide drawing. You can have a leaderboard and so on. Quite a number of functions available here. Now, what is the problem with this ClassPoint tool here? You can only have maximum 25 people being engaged in your online quiz at any time. I'll give you the link in a while. Don't worry. You can only have maximum of 25 people. So if you're going to have a quiz using that, imagine you have 100 participants like today. Initially, I was planning to show ClassPoint. But then when Dr. Veera says I'm going to have more than around very close to 50 to 100 participants, then I went and find a different tool. In a way, I learned something when I'm finding the tool. Initially, all the while, I use a ClassPoint where I can include the multiple choice, word cloud, short answer, and so on. But I'm sure our student, in your case, not going to be 25 of them. If you're using a free version, of course, you can pay for it. It's a useful tool. If you ask me how much you'll be paying around 400 ringgit for the whole year. I think if you are a heavy user of PowerPoint, the 400 ringgit that you're going to spend is quite worth it. But if you want to use the free version, you can keep going on. Maximum, you can have 25 participants at a time. Okay, but all the rest of the tools are similar as what you can see here. Yeah, all the down here, you can have it. Okay, it's all going to be free for you. You can even have a whiteboard. You can have a quick poll. You can have pick a name. That means if anyone have enrolled into my activity here, their names will appear here, and I can exactly pick their name here. I can exactly pick their name to answer some questions. So we can do some engaging activity here by using ClassPoint. How to access the ClassPoint? Let me give you the link on a ClassPoint here. Hold on. That is the link for the ClassPoint. But again, the problem with the ClassPoint, right, when it comes to quiz and so on, I feel there's another tool that will be more useful here, which I will be using for today, which called as a Slido. Okay, Slido is what we're going to use today. Why I prefer Slido for the quizzes? You can have up to 100 participants at a time. Like just now, you can only have 25. For Slido, we can have up to 100 participants able to participate in your activity. This will be very useful for lecture classes, which might have students around hopefully 100. If you have more, then you have to pay. For 200 participants, again, you'll be paying around 400 ringgit. Okay, let me show you what we can do with the Slido. I'm going to go step by step on the Slido here. Okay, I'm going to go on a Slido step by step. I wouldn't be covering about ClassPoint, but again, please download, please install. It's a very useful tool. But what I'm going to go through today is more on Slido. How to access a Slido? Let me give you the link to access Slido. Yeah. And I want to guide you step by step on installing Slido itself into your PowerPoint. So go to the link that I've just provided to everyone. The moment you are in the link, right, you'll come to this page here. It's slide.do/PowerPoints-polling. For now, they only have it, if not mistaken, what I saw is only for Windows. They don't have it for Mac yet. I didn't see that. Now, once you're here, just download for Windows. Download this. Select download. And then install it. Okay, once you have downloaded, what happens here, you're going to have the setup appearing there. Okay, we'll have something like this. In my case, I already installed, so it's saying uninstall. But I don't want to do that. So in your case, it's supposed to appear installed. So make sure you install the whole app first. Let me wait for a few minutes for you guys to install. Okay, I hope everyone have installed. Now, if you have installed, they would have asked you to restart the PowerPoint. And yes, I want to cancel this. And now, if you go to your PowerPoint slides now, what's going to happen here? If you go under Home, you will see a Slido tab under the Home tab. Under Home tab, you'll see the Slido. If you have installed it and then you restart the PowerPoint, you should see Slido there. Okay, now, what I can do with the Slido now, if I select on the Slido, okay, this thing gonna load, and here, of course, this looks a bit smaller, yeah, but you can include a lot of questions here. So example, let's say I want to include my first question. Okay, under the Slido, I can go to the word cloud. I'm gonna say here, oh, can you see it saying word upgrade? That's because I've already used 3 maximum for each slides or each presentation. That's why it's showing you I got to upgrade here. Okay, so what I can do then is basically I got to go and delete the old one, existing posts. So select all, perhaps want to delete this. Okay, you can only have 3 at the same time. Right? You can only have 3 at a time. Of course, for both, it's the same thing. Whether it's a Slido or ClassPoint, you can have 3 at a time for the free version here. So every time, every classes, you got to delete and create a new one. So let me just delete one for now. Perhaps I want to keep the second one and delete this. Okay. Now what happens here, the moment I delete, I can add a new one more. So let's go back to here. Let's say I'm going to add a word cloud. Word cloud is what I did just now. So this is where as many people are saying the same word, it's going to appear bigger and bigger and bigger. Perhaps I'm going to say here, how you feel now after the session. Okay, how you feel now after the session. Allow to multiple answers if you want to allow. Okay. Then what I do here, select add to presentation. It's going to quickly add the slides to the presentation now. I can click on the 3 dots here. I can click on the 3 dots here. Sorry, and edit if I want to edit the words. Or if I want to edit the background and so on, click on the top here, and then I can customize the backdrop. They have a few backdrops here. I can change my backdrop. But this time I use Singapore background in case like, yeah, I'm using a Singapore background. Okay, and then I go back to here. Now look at how does that gonna appear for the students when I launch. Take some time and there you go. How you feel now after the session. And remember here, for the 3 free thing, right, the student don't need to scan again and again. As I move to that particular slide, the question will change by itself in your phone itself. They just need to scan once. Perhaps anyone want to drop some comments here while you're trying out this Slido activities. Everyone is busy trying out. Okay, fine, then never mind. Okay. Now, yes. What are the type of the quiz that we have? If I go back to the main part here again. Okay, so we have a thing called as a multiple choice. I can't zoom in this part. Okay, I can zoom in. Okay, we have a multiple choice. We have multiple choice, basically ABCD. Open text is basically they can put in how many text you want. Again, it's showing because I've already used all 3. We have word cloud. Word cloud is what I did. Rating is when you want to rate between 1 to 5. 1 is less and 5 is the highest. Ranking, you want to rank certain things, so you can just drop to rank a list, but preferred order, they can just move it around. And then of course you can have a quiz. This is where the leaderboard comes in. Remember something similar like in Kahoot, Slido also has that function, but Slido doesn't have the part at the bottom of the screen. Yeah? This part here that I have, this one doesn't comes with a Slido, it only comes with another tool there. Okay, this part here doesn't come with a Slido. Any questions anyone has up to here? If you're a heavy user, I would recommend you to get it, buy it one. I'm not a very heavy user as of now for PowerPoint. I was a heavy user, but recently I've migrated on using Miro actually for most of my activities and so on. So I'm using lesser of PowerPoint, so I didn't purchase this, but this has been there for the past 2-3 years now, the Slido and also the another app. Igno, I feel is wonderful because you can do some editing on spot. You also have the multiple choice, word cloud, similar function that Slido has, but Ink now has extra functions. So you figure out which one if you want to purchase. It's around 400 ringgit annually for a 200 participants. Any questions anyone has on this? Everyone's okay. Do ask me questions if you have any. Okay, I guess everyone is okay with this. Either you guys are exploring. Yes. Oh, is there a button for Mac again? Yeah, Panolila. Slido is something that I've just explored in. All the while I've been using ClassPoint is what I'm using. Why I went to Slido? Because today's participant was more than 25. So do explore. But again, what I see both has the same kind of a tool. For the ClassPoint, you have the additional tool at the bottom, which Slido doesn't have. Okay, great. I am done with what we need to do today, but again, since we have another extra 30 minutes, perhaps I can repeat another one more step, one more tool that I want to repeat. Okay, if you go back to my slide just now, right, as I'm moving from one slide to another slide, I had this thing here. when I'm at this slide here below. Yep. Sure, Ms. Rovina. Again, you got to explore. You know the tool, try to explore and see which suits you best. Okay. Now, something that you might have observed or may not observe here, when I'm moving from one slide to another slide, right? I didn't click next, but what I did here, I was just clicking on this part here. When I go and click animation tool, it brings me to the animation section, the subsection of animation, and I have all the information about the animation section. Once I'm done, I can go to fun with shapes, and when I click on fun with shapes, all the slides related to this section here comes up from the zooming in, and then we had this part here, and so on, going to Jerry, going to Edward. And after that, right, the slide didn't proceed to the next part. It comes back to the main page again. And then when I go to click on timer, it's going to bring me to just the timer function. And when I click again, it brings me back to the main page. This is because the time is running. Stop. And then it's supposed to bring me back to the main page. So, yes, Ms. Mizan, ClassPoint also need to download. If you go to the link that I've given you just now, it has the same kind of steps to download it. Just download, and then it's going to be very easy use. It's going to be installed in your PowerPoint itself. Now, what I'm going to show you in the next 15 minutes, how I can create the similar effect on your PowerPoint slides. How does this going to be useful? Let's say you have one very long slides, like 100 slides in one PowerPoint, but then how the students able to refer? You're going to give the students this slides here. It's going to be a bit difficult for them to have a full picture of it, right? But when you break them into subtopics and then put it in one page, isn't it? It's going to be more easier for students. That is what we're going to look into now. So for that, if you go back to the slides that was given to you, you will have something similar as such with an empty space here. I didn't put in anything there because we want to create that sections here first. So for that, I have a few sections. I have 4 sections: animation tool, fun with shapes, timer, and Slido, right? So I have total 4 different sections here. So first of all, I need to break them into sections. How do I break the sections here? Go to the animation tool, right click. Okay, good job. Too many information, I forgot what to do. Okay, sorry, not to click on it. Just click between the slide 2 and slide 3. Between slide 2 and slide 3, just right click and select add section, because we want to add a section. Any problem? Anything? Okay, so click between the objectives and animation, select add section. That's going to be included some section here. I'm going to rename as an animation tool. Then rename. Now, let's look for the next section. The next section I have is fun with shapes. So I want to include another section between slide 4 and 5. Just click between the slide and add section and call it as a fun with shapes. The next one here is about timer. So that's between slide 7 and 8. I'm going to click between them, add section, and I'm going to call this as a timer. And the last one, I have a Slido interactive tool. So I'm going to click between the slide 10 and 9 and 10, interactive tool. Okay, so I've created the subsections here, 4 different sections. Perhaps you guys want to do that first. Then I'll move to the next step, how we can bring the sections into page number 2 here. So everything appears here. Create the sections first. Okay, now once you have created the sections here, go back to the slides where we want to include everything into, which is the objective. Okay, once you're there, go to insert, go to your slide number 2, go to insert, under insert, select zoom. Again, yeah, go to insert, go to slide number 2, go to insert, zoom, and we are using section zoom here. Okay, so let me select the section zoom, and I have total 4 sections I've created. 5 sections, is it? Or the first one I don't want the default section here. I just want the animation tool. I want the fun with shapes, timer, and interactive tool. Got 4 sections. Select it and insert. Let me show you again. Go to insert, zoom, section zoom, and then select section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5, and then insert. That's exactly going to insert everything here. It's about you arranging it now. So perhaps just select one by one and arrange it. Just now we had fun with shapes here. We had animation tool here, Slido interactive tool here, under live activities and timer here. Now, one more thing that you have to do, when you select these tools here, go to the zoom, okay? And we want to always make sure this is ticked for each and every activity, right? It's return to zoom is ticked here, okay? It's always ticked. This is also ticked, and this is also ticked to return to zoom. So let's try out this, if this works. Fun with shapes, it goes in, it goes to anything that related to fun with shapes, the whole sections of fun with shapes, and then it comes back here. Okay, then animation tool. When I click on the animation tool, it's going to bring me to the animation just now. I think I have this animation just now here. So once I'm done with the animation, what's going to happen here is going to bring back me to the main session here. So this is the tool called as a zooming tool here. Any problem, any questions on this? This is just this I've gone through the intermediate section, but since quite a number of you are not there, this will be also a useful tool here that comes to the PowerPoint. Okay, if there is no any questions, is there any questions? Slide only for Windows above. Yes, correct. Yeah. Windows 10 still can. Windows 10 can. Windows 10 and above.
Sorry, Mr. Anand, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm too lazy to type.
I prefer people washing out rather than typing out.
Yeah, as you have already got the class point in your system, and when you are on slide show, you've got the classroom code on your top right. What's the significance of that code?
This class code is actually coming from Slido actually.
Oh, that's a Slido. So
Yeah.
what's the significance of that?
This is exactly what happens here. As they are moving, remember from one, when you're creating any quiz, right? Basically what happened, this is the code that is related to that class, which they have joined the class by using the password that I've given you, that is given. But basically this is not so useful for us lah. But basically it is just something that comes with the system itself that's showing you the class code itself. But I don't see any purpose of it because the student not going to sign in with the class code. They go with hold on, yeah. Is it this one? Give me a minute. I'm also class code. Yeah, that comes with the Slido. Yes, exactly. Usually what happens, they don't even use as a password, but I'm not so sure why does it appears there. I've not exactly explored also, but I don't see any use of it. Because when they go in, right, they don't use the same password. They use a different code.
Thank you,
Class point,
sir.
is it? Okay, Dr. Veera, thanks, Dr. Veera. Class point, sorry, class code comes with the class code comes with the class point. Basically, what happens here, right? Thank you, Dr. Veera. Okay, let's say I have a new slide. I'm including a multiple choice using a class point. Okay, so let's say I have a multiple choice question here. Start question with a slide, multiple choice. Okay, and then has correct answer, competition mode has correct answer, number of choice has correct answer, and so on. And then what happens here, the thing is, I think class point here, you got to go and create the quiz. Here, if you go back here, these are the quiz that will be appearing there. And to access the quiz, right, basically what they're saying here, to access the quiz, remember, like similar like for any different tools, whether it's a Kahoot and so on, you need a class code, right? So that class code is basically for students to join that particular class when you are going online with the students. That's exactly it does. I hope I've answered you.
Yep, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Anand.
Yep.
I have one simple question here. I don't seem to be able to find the Zoom icon on my PowerPoint.
Which PowerPoint are you using? Version? Is it the 365?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Then it should be there. Just go to insert, select insert.
Insert, okay.
Then under, I think after add-ins, there's a Zoom tab here. If you're looking at my screen.
Mine after add-in, it's links. On the right is links, on the left forms.
Under links there, is there anything there now? It's supposed to be under links.
Oh, Zoom. Okay, yeah. Got it there.
And then select section Zoom.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? So again, yeah, about the additional third-party tool that I've recommended, please explore more. Again, I'm currently not heavy use of PowerPoint reading. So of course, I do use for basically to prepare videos and so on, not to go live with students, but basically I'm using it more on a preparation of videos. For live, usually I'm using Miro and engaging students using that platform actually. So now let's wrap up what we have exactly gone through today. Our whole session is about, the first part is about introducing to you guys about this working memory and how we can load them with a lot of information, and therefore whatever we've been teaching in the end is going to be waste because they're not able to process. So we want to reduce the extraneous load. How to reduce, out of 12 principles, we have gone through 5 principles, and that 5 principles here, I've given you some ideas about what are the tools we can use, how we can exactly organize our PowerPoint so that we can reduce these loads here, so that students are able to relate back to the previous information, able to process it, able to learn better in the classroom. Again, what we got to get out from here is being a teacher in the classroom, but rather than being a facilitator. I think that exactly will resolve many problems that student has. We have looked into tools such as on animation, we have looked on the shapes, playing with the shapes, to zooming in a certain sections, or to highlighting a certain part, moving the zooming part, or the normal animation. We have also looked onto third-party tools, Slidos, and another tool that I've introduced to you. And also besides that, I've also introduced on zooming tools that is appearing within the PowerPoint itself. I hope this session have been a bit fruitful for you. Perhaps a bit of revision of what you have learned and so on will make things better. Okay, and if there's no any question, I'll pass the floor back to Dr. Veera. Thank you so much, and sorry if there's a hiccups here and there, especially with the third-party tool that I've introduced. Again, as I'm not a heavy user of it. Okay, back to you, Ms. Veera, Dr. Veera, if there's no any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anand, for the wonderful sharing. To be frank, I like to use this cute moving animation in my slides. I thought it's just cute, but it's an extraneous, yeah. No
Yeah, correct.
wonder not many of my students get A. Okay, thank you so much for all to all participants for your active participation. Thank you so much. We hope we can improve our slides to engage our students more next semester and the coming semesters. Jazakallah khair. Barakallahu fikum. If there is no other questions, I think we can end our session today with Tasbih Kafara wa Suratul As.
Thank you very much, everyone. And again, before I end, perhaps everyone want to explore this tool as called as Miro. It comes with an education license, free education license. If you've registered your universities, do explore that. And perhaps if you want to know more about it, I can even come up. Yes, it's Miro. I wanted to show you guys previously, but let me quickly go through this, Dr. Veera, if that's okay with you.
Okay, no problem.
Just a very quick one. This is something, it's a very engaging where students can come in with the board and they can do things on spot. Just ignore the information I have here. I can also have a session where students upload their information. It can be a collaborative session where everyone are working on a similar platform. In my case, I use for a homework purpose. So again, I can have the students there and like I can have their names there where students, example here, if I go to this student, I can see the homework that she have uploaded weekly. I can click on a week one and then look at, mark their work and so on. It can be also students are coming in and collaborating in the same platform. And these are all, this is again, compared to Jamboard just now, right? This is more like a very infinite kind of a board. It can be as big as possible and you get many things, collaboration sessions and so on. So do explore this, and it comes with a free license for 100. You can add up to 100 students, and you can always remove them and add a new students and so on. See whether this will be useful. I will end the class here. I will end the session today. Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you so much. I wonder, the one that you marked just now, you have to mark hard copy and then you have to upload.
Student, what they do, once they're done their work, right, I will ask them to upload here. So
Okay.
once the student upload here, I mark from here itself because I have the inking tool here. So I can go here and mark using the inking tool.
Okay.
And I usually use the iPad, so it's much more easier to mark and then to comment their works and so on.
Oh, so they are doing it in hard copy and then they have to upload.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Depends what they're doing. Of course, certain things like, certain subject you have to write because a lot of work. Of course, they can type it out, but I think they prefer on doing this way.
Yeah. Some students, they like.
Correct. So again, there's many things can be done. I'm just showing you one part of it. Do explore. You will learn a lot from Miro tools here.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time. I hope it's all fruitful. Bye, everyone. See you.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Mr. Anand.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Dr. Veera, for inviting me.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.